Today I'm going to show you how I record acoustic guitars, but I'm going to show you the results of the process before I show you how I do it so that you don't dismiss it. I've been working on a song for a while, but I realized that I really didn't like the verses that I had, so I decided I needed to go back and rework them here recently. And part of the first part of doing that was to go back and redo the chord progressions, and I wanted to re-record the acoustic guitars for that section. And now let me walk you through the equipment that I used and the setup that I used in order to actually record this. So you'll see I have these two audio files, this first one that's acoustic, the verse sketch, and then a second one as well. And if you look at these in the channel rack, just the audio clips, I have one that's panned mostly to the left and then one that's panned mostly to the right. And so this is really the entire thing. It's two tracks of acoustic guitar, one pan left, one pan right. And I'll show you the mixer setup for this. I was recording on this insert, which is 31. So I don't have any effects in there other than just the tuner that I used to make sure that the guitar was in tune. And then I'll show you the equipment and how exactly I set this up to record it. I used a small condenser microphone. This one is an SE Electronics SE7, I think is the model of it. It's a simple little pencil condenser microphone. And this requires 48 volt phantom power. So I ended up plugging in an XLR to this end of it, plugged it into the back of my audio interface, and then I just have to turn on the 48 volt power for that channel. On my audio interface, it's channels 5 through 8 that turn on all at the same time when you turn on that 48 volt power. So I plugged that in. I set this microphone directly onto the desk and then recorded my guitar in front of it. So you can see I just have the microphone set down on this felt mat that's sitting on top of my desk. It just has an XLR cable and that's running around the back behind my keyboard and runs over to my audio interface. And then the microphone is just sitting a little bit off of the desk and it happens to be at a great height. So I am using this kind of close to the 12th fret. I'm sitting a couple inches away from it as I'm playing it. So the 12th fret is right here. The microphone is here. And so then I'm just strumming over here and adjusting this to where it's kind of hitting about halfway up that. And again, over here on this right side, I'm picking the input that I have my guitar plugged into, which is input 5. And then I just chose to go post effects. There really aren't any effects here other than the tuner. And then I right click here to name the audio file that I want to call it and where I want to save it. The reason that I wanted to show you the results first is if you just saw the microphone sitting on the desk, you might have just dismissed this outright. But when you hear the results of it first, and then you can see that it really doesn't take a whole lot to be able to get a pretty decent result as far as the setup that you need. It's a really simple pencil condenser microphone that I'm using that's plugged into an audio interface. I'm just making sure that the 48 volt power was cut on, and then I'm just adjusting the volume to hit about midway, and then tracking that 2 times, panning one left, panning one right, and it gets a pretty nice wide stereo sound for the acoustic guitar that I used on this particular recording. So hopefully you can see you really don't need to have an incredibly complicated setup to record acoustic guitar and get a pretty decent result. I hope this was helpful for you, and thanks so much for hanging out with me.